yield 5 minutes to the gentleman from Indiana, Mr. Burton, the ranking member on the Subcommittee on Middle East and South Asia.
The gentleman from Indiana is recognized for 5 minutes.
I ask unanimous consent to revise and extend my remarks.
Without objection.
First of all, let me congratulate our chairman on crafting a bill that, in large part, is very good. It increases the aid to Pakistan by triple in some areas, and I think it's very positive. It deals with economic and humanitarian assistance that will help Pakistan build schools, roads, hospitals, and help Pakistan's economic infrastructure, and all that's good. And I know that the President and the administration supports that as well. But unfortunately, here comes the but part, unfortunately, the Chairman and our Democrat colleagues decided to load this bill up with ill-conceived provisions to micromanage U.S. security assistance to Pakistan, as the ranking member just said. And this is not just my opinion. The Secretary of Defense, Mr. Gates, the Chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, Mr. Mullen, wrote the Armed Services Committee last month, and here's what they said. The degree of conditionality and limitations on security assistance to Pakistan in H.R. 1886 severely constrains the flexibility necessary for the executive branch and the Department of Defense, given the fluid and dynamic environment that exists in Pakistan. I'll yield.
After yesterday, why wouldn't you?
I will in a minute, but do you remember last night when I asked you to yield? But that's okay, I'll yield to you in a minute. Just show you what kind of a guy I am. But anyhow, this is a very difficult time over there. And I would like to say to my chairman, if he can see this, Mr. Chairman, I hope if you can see this, it's very important that we look at the situation on the ground in Pakistan right now. The green area is the area that the government controls. The brown area is the area that the Taliban controls. The tan area is where there's a strong Taliban presence. And the yellow is where there's federally supported tribal areas. And, of course, up here in the north is the blue northwest frontier. If we lose this, if you lose this here, you've got a heck of a problem in Afghanistan. That's the entire border with Afghanistan. And you lose that, and the President's goal to stabilize and win the war in Afghanistan is going to go right down the tubes. And this micromanaging that you're doing in this bill is not going to be helpful. Now, I, in the past, have not agreed with Senator Kerry. In fact, I can't remember ever agreeing with Senator Kerry. But I want to read to you what he said, just to let you know that there is some bipartisan opposition. He said, I'll read to you what he said. But Senate Foreign Relations Chairman John Kerry, Democrat of Massachusetts, the author of similar Senate legislation, Senate Bill 962, said it's overly restrictive and counterproductive. He said it sends a message in the Pakistani body politic that the people of Pakistan say, well, we're just doing the U.S.'s bidding. We're their lackeys. We're not in control. And that's counter to the things I think we want to send, the kind of message we want to send right now to Pakistan. This is a very difficult time. This is not just a debate between you, Mr. Chairman, and the ranking member and me. This is war and peace. It's the survivability of Pakistan as an independent country. It's winning or losing the war in Afghanistan. And we have to remember that Pakistan is a nuclear power. If the Taliban is successful in this area, not only will Afghanistan go down the tubes, but in likelihood, they will have control of some nuclear weapons. Now, I know we've got precautions that are being taken to stop that. But in the event this takes place and we lose control of those nuclear weapons, you've got a real possible conflagration for the whole area in that part of the world. So I'd just like to say to the chairman, and I hope in conference committee this is changed, that this micromanaging that you're doing to try to tell the Pakistani government how to conduct its military operations in Pakistan, that is limited or stopped.
Would the gentleman just
I'll be happy.
And this isn't for a polemic. It's really just to take what you said. Number one, I agree completely with the urgency of it. If I didn't, we don't have a lot of money. I would not be authorizing. We would not be authorizing these sums. We share your sense of the urgency of the situation. Secondly, the letter you cite is correct. the letter is not correct, but the existence of the letter is correct. But it was addressed to a bill that had been introduced. Since the introduction of the bill, we have gone through elaborate negotiations with the House Armed Services Committee to deal with some of the issues that letter was concerned about. We have worked through, both in the supplemental and in the authorizing committees, the Pakistan...
May I have another minute or so?
The gentleman from Indiana's time has expired. The gentlelady from Florida controls the time.
Yes, I would love to give the gentleman an additional minute because we do want to clarify that Senator Kerry's statements are related to this bill.
The gentleman is recognized for an additional minute.
Let me just say to my colleague that there's an unnecessary limitation relating to Pakistan's S-16 program that could be dealt with by non-legislative means, but you're dealing with that in this bill. It shows that there's no trust, a limitation on State Department-funded assistance unless Pakistan meets certain conditions relating to non-proliferation, counterterrorism, and other issues.
Good things.
Sir?
Good things.
I don't understand you.
Ensuring that the mission that we are equipping and training for is committed to a counterinsurgency.
All I can say,
not an arms race in South Asia.
All I can say, Mr. Chairman, is if you read the bill and you listen to the debate and listen to even what Senator Kerry says, with whom I don't agree very much, you see that there is too much micromanaging in this bill. This is a war over there, and we should be supporting our ally in every way possible so the Taliban isn't victorious. And I yield back the balance of my time.
The gentleman's time has expired. The gentlelady from Florida reserves the balance of her time. The gentleman from California is recognized.